A little bit more from them later on in the show as we go along. Okay, so on to our special feature of the week. And this week we have the Girl Against Fluoride is taking legal action against the Irish government because of their continued water fluoridation policy. The aim of the court case is to ensure that the Irish people have access to clean, safe drinking water and that no dangerous, untested chemicals can be added to the water supply ever again. Now, the Fluoride Girl, or the Girl Against Fluoride, is Aisling Fitzgibbon, and we're joined on the line by her this morning. Good morning, Aisling.
Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah.
So this case that you're taking against the Irish government, can you tell us a little bit about it? Why exactly you're taking the case and what you hope to get from it?
Well, the reason I'm taking the case personally is because time and time again the Irish government have been alerted to the dangers of the dangerous chemicals what they're adding in the form of fluoride to the water supply. Just over 12 years ago, there was a doctor, Paul Connett, and he's Professor of Chemistry from St. Lawrence University of New York, and he came over. He was paid by the Irish government to come and to present to them, just to give them the other side of the argument about fluoride in the water.
Uh-huh.
And he gave them 50 valid scientific reasons why you shouldn't fluoridate water. And he left anyway, went back to New York, and he didn't hear anything from them.
Right.
After 4 years, he got some form of, it was a response that was posted on the Department of Health and Children's website, which basically wasn't really addressing the 50 reasons at all.
He gave them 50 reasons why fluoride should not be put in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the Irish government had paid for him to come over and do that study, did they?
They paid for him to come over to present.
Because
because they had formed a fluoridation forum to review scientific evidence worldwide. After it had been alerted to them by, he was a member of public from the north of Ireland, Walter Graham, and he was campaigning up in the north to get fluoride stopped up there, and it had only been fluoridated in 2 cities, and they got that out in 1997, and then after that he came down to the south in 1998. And the government, they said, we're going to have to set up a forum of fluoridation to review scientific evidence worldwide to assess whether this is safe or effective.
Right.
And so part of that they got Paul Connett to come over.
Right. And they paid for him to come over, and of course they did nothing about it afterwards, despite his recommendations.
It was almost like they were just doing it just to be seen to be doing it, but they weren't actually going to take any of his information on board. So they've had this expert body on fluorides and health established since then, and now it's 12 years later, and there's no movement by the government to get this prevented, or any contact that we have with the Department of Health, it's just they come back with the same basically carte blanche response that it's safe and effective at its optimum level. And they're just completely negating all of the scientific evidence that's showing that it's harmful to human health and the environment. So that's where I come in. I'm an ordinary citizen. I'm a qualified occupational therapist. I'm currently studying nutritional therapy, and it was through my involvement in the college, which is actually based in England, Nutritional Therapy College in Devon. And they were telling me, the south of Ireland's water is fluoridated. Now, this was 2 years ago, and I'd never even... The most I heard about fluoride was that it's in a toothpaste, and I thought fluoride's good for your teeth, which everyone believes,
So it's obviously good to have it in the water if it's good for your teeth, you were probably thinking.
Exactly, yeah. And I actually didn't even know that the south was fluoridated. I actually wasn't even aware of that.
Are we the only country in Europe or the only country in the world that has its water fluoridated?
Well, we're not the only country in the world, but we're the only... It's Ireland it's 98% of Europe, which I think is quite an alarming figure to say, has either banned or stopped water fluoridation based on health reasons or ethical reasons. Like in Germany, they stopped it based on the ethical point that it's unethical to mass medicate a country with a medicine, which is something that will create biochemical changes in the body. So
actually, Aisling, just before we go any further, can you just tell us exactly what is fluoride and why was it initially put in the water?
Yeah, well, fluoride is what they are saying they put in the water is called fluoride, that's the name.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, how it's delivered is actually in a chemical compound called hydrofluoric acid. Now, this is actually, it's like a byproduct of the aluminium and phosphate industry. They mine a thing called fluorspar, and this is just something like fluoride is just a part of a kind of a waste product, as you would say. And it's not just fluoride, this hydrofluoric acid is fluoride, aluminium, lead, arsenic, mercury, uranium, cadmium. It's just heavy metals that you'd never imagine would go next or near the human body.
Yeah, and that's been put in the water through the water supplies in every town, city and village in the country, is that right?
Yeah, so through all the municipal water supplies, through all the water reservoirs.
Right, so if you have your own private water spring, it won't be in that?
It won't be in that, but there has been a report conducted by an environmental scientist, and he put that together and published that in February of this year. His name is Declan Waugh, and you can get his report on www.enviro.ie. Declan Waugh. It's Waugh.
Right. Okay. So that's what it is now. And so why would they put it in the water?
Yeah. So it was brought in. There was a health act that was brought in 1960 to fluoridate water supplies, and it's basically coming from public health policy from America.
Yeah.
It was an idea by the US Public Health Office to fluoridate water supplies with. The original reason was to prevent dental caries. Now that has since been disproven. But
to prevent dental
decay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only reason they're putting it in the water, is they're saying they're putting this into the water as a measure to prevent dental decay rates.
It's quite an extreme measure just to prevent people's teeth rotting, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just very peculiar because this hydrofluoric acid. Now you can see videos and things on YouTube, different accidents that have happened in the US with these tankers that are carrying this hydrofluoric acid. And there was one case where it actually split open the truck because the chemical will actually eat through concrete and steel. It's that corrosive.
Brilliant. So it's going into our teeth. Excellent. So you said it came as a result of the 1960 Act. So when was it actually put in the water in Ireland?
It was actually then, it commenced in 1964. The reason it was delayed was because there was a lady, her name was Gladys Ryan, and she took a court case against the government at the time on a human rights ground, not to be... Basically, you're not being medicated against your consent.
Right.
But unfortunately, that was thrown out, and we've been told that it's based on a technicality that in her area there was 4 water pumps available for her to use at the time. Now, since that time, as you know, water pumps are no longer in use, and they've been concreted over. So people are reliant on the treated water that's coming in through our taps.
Yes. So people are being forced into it, like many other things. You could even say on another level, say with the televisions, the way the analog signal was switched off, people are just being forced into digital, and there was no particular reason for it. So likewise with the water, people are just getting boxed into these things.
Oh yeah.
So